Today, let's do something different. Today, we are answering 10 most asked questions about software engineering industry. Let's go through them. So the first one, it says, are startups actually better for growth? In a sense, yes, and also somewhat no as well. Okay, let me explain. If you are working in a startup where the projects that you are getting is really high quality, you have the learning opportunity that the stuff that you are working on, it's not that you are doing that same thing again and again and again, and you are actually working something new, then there is a growth opportunity, really better growth opportunity. The reason is, in a startup you are also expected that you will do things in a very small amount of time. You have a high pressure working environment, you need to achieve a lot more in a small time. So in that sort of environment, you will have to focus on yourself, on how to become more efficient and more productive. So obviously that will make you a better engineer and push you harder. So there is a better growth opportunity. But if let's say you are working in a startup where you are not really getting high quality projects, let's say you got the task to build a website, you learned it the first time, you did it the second time. If you're doing the same thing again and again and again, then somewhat your growth opportunity is limited there. So it's not always true that startups are better for growth. It depends on what sort of startup you're working at. Okay, second question. It says, why promotions are not always about skill? 100% agree that I agree with this fact that promotions are not always about skills. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you are a front-end engineer, right? And you know only one language. Let's say you know React and Next.js. That's it. You're working in it. One of your colleague started from the same point where you are, React and Next.js, but you had this idea that okay, you want to keep on improving. So with React and Next.js, let's say you also learned Svelte, or let's say you also learned Vue or something like that. You have improved your skill, you have expanded your skill. Your colleague also did the same. The thing that is going to create the difference in between like two of you, how you are applying that skill to benefit the company. For example, let's say, I'm just giving one example. If you are helping out your colleagues, if you are helping your juniors, if your skills you are applying in such a way so that it drives more business for the company, that is what the company looks for. And to do that, you have to be better at a lot of things. Communication, making sure your ideas are properly presented, so presentation, and also doing a lot of research that okay, how can I apply my skills in different situations. So it's not only about skills, but how you apply those skills in real life, and also how you present it so that the company gets to benefit from it. That is what actually gives you the promotion, rather than just learning a new skill. Okay, next question. It says, is it okay to stop grinding? For me, no, but to each their own. If you have this thinking that okay, you have reached a certain point in career where you have a sufficient salary, or you are happy with where you are, then maybe it's fine for you to stop grinding. But in that case also, I will question the fact that you will always have this fear or this probability that you will get replaced when it comes, like when a bad situation comes, because company always looks for employees to fire who are lazy, or who are not willing to move ahead, or who are not willing to do better in their career. Those are the employees who get fired first from the company. So think about it. If you want job security, if you want to to become a better engineer and keep on improving in your life, in your career, you cannot stop grinding. But if you're happy with the point where you are and you don't really want to put in more work, you are okay with having this insecurity of losing your job, that's up to you. Okay, fourth question. Why senior engineers quit coding? Not really. I don't really think that is the case, because there are two paths actually. So you entered as a fresher, junior engineer, senior engineer, lead engineer. After lead engineer, you have, like most of us get two different things. Either you can be a manager, or either you can go in the route of architect. What I mean by that is, in most not in small companies, in small companies rarely there is architect position. It's mostly after lead you become manager, and once you become manager in small companies, they don't expect much coding from you. They expect that you will get the things done from other lead engineers or other senior engineers and stuff. But if you are asking me in a broad view in software engineering as an industry, then after lead you have two different ways. If you love coding, if you want to stick with coding and do more, you can choose the path of architect as well. But if you don't want to code so much, because I can understand that after doing coding for let's say 6, 7, 8 years, people may get fed up with it, or people don't really have the encouragement to do it again and again and to keep on improving, then they might choose to become a manager. Manager doesn't really mean that you are not doing coding at all. It simply means that you have the flexibility to choose how much you are gonna get involved in the actual development process. So if you want to stay involved in it, fine, you can find that sort of position where the company allows you to also get involved in the the development process, writing code and stuff. But you also have that sort of position as well where company will say you don't really need to code, so that's up to you. And it's not that all senior engineers quit coding. It's simply that it's a choice depending on what sort of engineer they are and what they want to do for the rest of their life. Fifth question, how deadlines change how you think. How deadlines change is how we are gonna achieve the result. That's all. If let's say, for example, let's say I am given a deadline that I have 1 week to do a task or to do a module, something like that, and I know 1 week is sufficient. I'm gonna make sure that the file structure is fine, the way I write the code, I use good practices and everything, all of the like checkpoints that I tick. But if let's say I have a deadline which is like I need to do this thing in 2 days, and I know for a fact that okay, it for sure will take like 3 or 4 days, but I am asked in a situation where I need to accomplish in 2 days, I may write decent code, but I don't think I will be able to follow all of the good practices. So let's say I maybe will not make the code as much modular as I would have liked to. Maybe I will write bigger modules to not really go through the headache of splitting up the code and making sure all of the modules test perfectly and work perfectly. So that's one. Or maybe the second thing, maybe I will not follow the best coding practices as well. So that's how deadlines change. I will obviously keep on trying to deliver my best and to be more efficient so that I can achieve more in less time. But obviously, if I know it is way over my head, then I also need to adjust according to the time and according to the work situation. Sixth question, learning to say no. Oh wow, yes, learning to say no as an engineer, it's a very big point. People might think that okay, if you do a job, you want to go ahead in your career, you want to improve in your career, you need to take on stuff and keep on saying yes. No, you do not. It's not that okay, this also doesn't mean that every time you will say no. That's also not a correct mindset. But let's say if your hands are already full, and let's say you are not comfortable with something, you need to be confident enough to be polite and to say no, that maybe there is a better thing I can do, or maybe I can do it in a better way, but this is out of my boundary. Okay, also keep in mind, it's not that everything is out of your boundary. Let's say I am a front-end developer today, and tomorrow my company asks that okay, you need to start working on backend as well. You need to have the flexibility that okay, slowly you will learn the backend coding, and because that is also part of coding only, you just need to expand your skills. But if the company says that okay, tomorrow you need to do video editing stuff as well, and I really don't want to do video editing stuff, I really don't want to take my career in that way, then I have a choice. I can tell the company that please give me some sort of other responsibilities, but no, I don't want to do this thing. So you have to say no. Otherwise, what will end up happening is you will end up taking responsibilities, you will end up taking workloads that you don't really enjoy doing, that stops your progress, like your growth in career, and at the end of the day you will end up quitting the company. So better to say no than quitting. Next question, Are software engineers afraid of AI? Good engineers, no. Bad engineers, yes. What I mean by bad engineers is like if you are not willing to keep on working on yourself, if you are not willing to improve yourself to make sure that you are fit for any working environment, that's when you are afraid of AI. But if you are that sort of engineer who thinks that okay, in any sort of situation I have the power that I can learn more, I can adjust my career, and I can fit in any situation, I don't think they are actually afraid of AI. They see AI more as a tool rather than being something that they are afraid of. Okay, next, eighth question. Will AI reduce the value of junior engineers? In one way, yes. Another way, no. The critical point is, the crucial point that you need to think about is, what do you mean by junior engineers? If you are saying junior engineer means those who just know how to write code, basic syntax and everything, yes, they will get like replaced by AI, their value will be zero. But why junior engineers will not totally get replaced? You need to redefine the term junior engineers. Right now, after the AI boom, the value of junior engineer comes from knowing like much more than what were expected from you cannot simply say, okay, I know how to write basic code and I am a junior. No, that's not how it's gonna work. You need to know how to use AI. If you don't know some sort of thing, that you need to learn that new skill. And also you need to be much more productive. Previously it used to happen that okay, if you're a fresher and if you're out of your college, then company teaches you how to do stuff, company gives you that learning period, that that training period. Right now I don't think most of the companies are doing it. Most of the companies expect that once you are out of college, you already know how to write code, you already know how to do stuff, and you can be productive to the company from day one. So the expectations from junior engineers have evolved drastically. So if you are saying that junior engineers in the sense like traditionally how they used to behave, then obviously there is no value for them. But if you are redefining the term of junior engineers and making sure you are up to date with what the industry expects right now, you still have the value as you always used to have. Second last question. Engineers who resist AI will struggle 100% of the time. If you resist the AI development, if you stop taking advice or improvement, if you stop incorporating AI in your own workflow and making yourself more productive, you will struggle in your life. There are other engineers who are doing it, they will take your job and you will get replaced really soon. So there is no other way. You have to make sure that you also take AI's help. And also by AI's help, I don't mean like copy paste. By AI's help, I mean you need to make sure that you are more productive using the AI. Last question. Wow. Okay. The new definition of good engineer. The new definition of good engineer is 2 points. First, how you are solving the problem. Second, if you are productive. By productive, the definition of productive always changes. 10 years ago, productive meant you are only able to solve the problem. That's all. Today, efficient and productive means you are also using AI to make sure that you don't take that long, and also you produce quite good results. So yes, if the definition of like the new definition of good engineer is if you are productive in today's standard, and the second thing, if you're a really good problem solver. Don't think about language, don't think about coding and stuff. Coding, language, those are all tools. If you are good problem solver and if you are productive, you are a really good engineer in today's time. So those were 10 questions, and I hope if you have any of these doubts, then that is cleared. If you have any more doubt, then please drop them in the comments. I will make sure to cover all of them in the next video. Thanks.